Hey, I'm Hash and welcome back to the channel where I'm going to do a review of the OBSBOT Tail Air PTZ streaming camera, which is what I'm recording on right now. This is a pretty cool device that I received recently from OBSBOT and something that I can see myself using a lot more for live streaming, for video calls, and even just producing videos on YouTube like this where I want to cut down on equipment and have the ability to track myself like you can see the camera doing right now. So in the past, when it came to doing things like live streams, which I do a lot on my other channel on Pushing Film, where I talk about film cameras and share photo books and all that kind of stuff, what I would generally do is set up an entire dedicated mirrorless or DSLR camera, so either my 5D Mark IV or this Canon R6, meaning that either I have to hard power the camera, which I've had issues with in the past, or rely on batteries. But I can't always afford the ability to do that or worry about the camera overheating in the case of the R6, which it does do eventually. Or, one time I tried to hard power the 5D and that bricked the camera entirely. So usually what people might do is buy a dedicated, Sony ZV type camera or a small mirrorless that doesn't overheat just for the purpose of using as a glorified webcam or for live streaming. But I think the new direction that we're going to be moving in is using something like these amazing PTZ cameras, especially in the case of the OBSBOT Tail Air, because it has a 23mm f1.8 lens. So normally in the studio here, I'm filming in fairly low light. Sorry for getting away from the microphone there, but yeah, having that f1.8 aperture just really helps when comparing it to something like a regular webcam, or even if you are using a small mirrorless camera that has a built-in zoom or something that doesn't have quite a wide aperture. But yeah, the convenience of having a small package where you don't have to worry about battery life running out. You can hard power this camera. You can plug in a 3.5mm microphone. It has onboard SD card recording, has an HDMI output. So there's just a lot of versatility that makes this a viable option for replacing dedicated cameras or just cheap webcams. Even if you have a great webcam, something like this is definitely going to outperform it and have more capability when it comes to things like the AI tracking. Speaking of which, I have that turned on right now, but you can use gesture control with the OBSBOT, which is just simply, for example, putting my hand up. That's going to turn off the tracking. So now if I'm moving around, it's not tracking me anymore. But outside of that, it's also great as a solo content creator. So if I want to go out and shoot on location, I don't have someone to help me film, having those AI tracking capabilities would work in that situation too. So there's a lot more use for this camera besides using it at home for things like live streaming and indoor production. I can take it outdoor to use it as a camera when I'm shooting YouTube videos on my own or doing something like this where I'm out taking photos and don't have anyone else to help me film. So with the OBSBOT, I can use either the phone connection to interface with the camera or gesture controls to do things like zooming the image in a little bit. Starting and stopping recording can be done with gestures as well. And I can even set up the composition so I can have myself kind of in the thirds of the image if I like. So I can get more of a full body shot, have myself a little bit on this side of the frame. And there's a lot of smart control that means that you can cut down on that production time and running back and forth to move the camera, for example, if I'm going to be taking a shot or shooting something out on location or an instructional video, for example. So it's just a really handy thing to have. And especially considering it's such a small package, there's no harm chucking it in a little bag like this, like I did today, and being able to set up a shot, turn off the AI control, and then know that the camera's going to stay still there, and then I can move around freely as I want. So even if it's like a second camera or a third camera angle or whatever, it's a really versatile thing to have. So yeah, very impressed with its ability for on-location videos. Now, another good thing if I'm doing live streams on my other channel, for example, where I'm talking about camera equipment, I can use the object tracking as well. So I'm currently using the phone app to interface with the OBSBOT camera. And what it asks me to do is just draw a box over the object that I want it to track. So that's just simply drag and drop over the camera there. And as you can see, it's just going to track the camera and even change focus. But yeah, my main takeaway is the practical implications of what this means in terms of hardware. It's a really well-engineered device that has all this capability packed into a fairly small package that can replace a bunch of other equipment that you might be using. So obviously you're not going to get the same image that you would expect from a full frame sensor and a dedicated lens, but sometimes it's going to be a bit overkill going that way. And this could even be a second camera for your streams. Sometimes I do book sharing live streams where I have multiple cameras, and I previously would have to set up the mirrorless and the SLR camera that I have with an overhead C-stand. And this is just really lightweight, versatile, and opens up a few more doors when it comes to that. The other great thing is that it's really seamless to set up and interface with the streaming software that I use, which is OBS. I'm not sure if the name or OBSBOT has anything to do with that, but yeah, interesting coincidence otherwise. So it gives you this feature using the software, the desktop software, to have it as a virtual camera. So all those tracking features will still work if I'm using it for a live stream through OBS, and for that matter, if using different software. There's also NDI connectivity if you want to use it through Ethernet or other, as an NDI source. But yeah, for me, the biggest benefit is just its ability for situations like this, for my streams, for doing video chats, for podcasts, and having that low light capability. So let's focus in a little bit on some of the specs, features, and price point of the OBSBOT Tail Air PTZ camera. The Tail Air comes with a nice carry case, a USB-C cable, USB-C splitter, and a USB-C to A adapter. I've already mentioned the key features, but here are some other notable specs. The camera has a 1/1.8 inch CMOS sensor and a 4x digital zoom. You can record up to 1080p 60 or 4K 30 footage. There's also a built-in mic, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. You can record to the SD card while streaming if you wish, and use multiple OBSBOT cameras together. The built-in lithium battery has an approximate life of 2.5 hours at 1080p. For the full rundown of specs, head to the OBSBOT website. The retail price is $499 for the base package, with other combos available. These may include extras like the Ethernet adapter, an NDI key, or multiple OBSBOT cameras. Make sure you check out my discount code in the description of the video, which expires on the 31st of December 2024. So all in all, I'm really quite impressed with the capability of the OBSBOT Tail Air as just a little robot camera companion to use whether you're out on location or shooting in the studio or office for webcam stuff. It's just really capable and versatile with all the different connectivity options, recording options, NDI, streaming directly through the app if you want to do that, onboard recording with a micro SD, HDMI output, and so on. So for me as a solo content creator, this is something that I can definitely see myself continuing to use going forward, and something that I can imagine would unlock a lot of capability beyond what I've just mentioned for you if you do content creation, streaming, a lot of video conferencing and stuff like that. So if you are interested in getting an OBSBOT, there is currently a discount code that I'll put in the description of the video, and this is also stacking with the Prime Big Day deals, which are running from about October 8th till the 17th, I believe, but you can double check that. So if you want to get one while you can stack different discounts, make sure to do that. I'll put my affiliate link to the OBSBOT store and the Amazon page in the description of this video. Thanks for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.